Hi, today we're going to go back and discuss chicanery and the curses that affect everyday life, and part of trying to dissect and understand the symptomatic causes and reactions of problems within life itself that has created difficulty. So, therefore, being able to figure a problem to potentially solve it, even though there seems to be a lot of resistance to solving the problem because of power validity or something like that. Possessions, we go back to once again. And like I said, my entire life, possessions gone, nothing left. I never, it's all my childhood toys gone, all my high school, whatever, gone, everything. And it's probably because of the variety, or just the, um, I, like I said, I never gave much credence to it. I always thought, oh, it's a bunch of hokum and hooey, all these magic and stuff. I did play the Dungeons and Dragons game as a kid, but I never took it real seriously. But obviously, others took it seriously in order to facilitate precedences. Well, especially when you factor in the actuarial tables, the similarity between actuarial tables, but it's really loaded dice with me. What they've done is it's like a slot machine. Consider me like an ATM. Somebody went in and finagled with everything, so it spits out cash real easy, just like Mardi Gras, throwing out, gold doubloons, coins or chips. And there's nothing I can do about that. It's because what's happened to me theoretically is my genetics were hacked to lower me down from an upper echelon level way on down in order to make the possessions that were pillaged and um, that are used by other people more powerful. And then the possessions in turn help control because of the validity of the power of the possessions. And it's all based upon the system, the gaming grid. Some people should be able to rise above it because of their value, but we have value. We should be able to build um, walls to be independent of the system, but we are not allowed. For some reason, they want us in the system to keep powering it. We're that battery, that superpower lithium battery. The lion, lithium ion, and there's also the lithium is an interesting chemical because of the use of it in it's a natural salt and its use in psychology or psychiatry, and the use in it's got a radioactive isotopes. But what's going on, I think, is the variable interpretations based upon precedents. So you got a radioactive lithium ion, you got a lithium battery that stores energy. That's the key. It saves energy. That's what the key. Lion. And the double I, though, you see that double I in there, the ion? And then you got lithium, the pills. And there's a natural level within the body. It's a naturally occurring element. There's all sorts of interpretation variances upon it. I do honestly think that's a key loophole, though, as far as the um, antivirus. What they've had to do is the industry has found loopholes to the antiviral things for certain individuals, such as myself and my family. They found loopholes around us. Obviously, we were a known commodity. I can backtrack all the evidence you want, even though those that are, want the devil's advocate tongue and nail in the tongue don't want me, they want to keep the evidence hidden as far as synchronicity, because that proves mismanagement and nefarious motives and sabotage. So, you've got what they've done is they've relegated these possessions. And I don't remember all the possessions that I've had as a kid, all the toys, the Ataris, the computers I used, all the knives and and sports equipment I had. You know, who knows where that? I know where a good portion of it is. I thought, because I was unsure of myself, is with a friend, or who knows. And it seems to have created an illumination, as you would say, an illumination of her persona based upon, probably, there's a box of pictures in there, you know. There was a gold watch, I think, the Dunlop Max Fly Diamond Golf Clubs. And like I said, I thought I was going to get them back. I just was unsure. I was in the middle of I thought we were friends. I was in the middle of writing some. I had been doing a lot of writing and just got kind of lost in it. And that was back in when I actually thought I had friends. You know, what a fool I was. A child when I thought I had friends. Little did I know I was used as an energy source more than anything. So you've got the LSU hacked me way down. Baton Rouge hacked me down even lower, so all the possessions were dispersed or real powerful because the power has to go somewhere. So it goes into the system because I'm not able to use it because they bury me so low. So then all these possessions have this power source. So what I'm trying to come up with these days is what kind of voodoo curse can I get to remove the, you know, I have a feeling it's going to boomerang. That's the whole, there was a Confessions of a Shopaholic with Isla Fisher, and that's kind of what's going on with magic these days. And that's why there's the desperate charge to seize control, is because their magic costs. The magic is an equation. I happen to be a fairy godmother superstore for magic. My family is, because we're like from the church. We funnel energy through the church into the dark arts. That's why they love us so much, and that's why, you know, so we're funneling energy through we're a pipeline from the church, St. Louis Cathedral, right on into, well, that's where it goes into the perks of being a wallflower, I think. And St. Louis Cathedral, number 9, King of France, and the 12-9 with John Malkovich, Jacob Dylan. And then you've got Emma Watson playing Sam in the Perks of Being a Wallflower, produced by Malkovich's company, and she was in the Harry Potter, and also I have a godson named Sam that is a blood cousin. And so there's all that right there is a whole big pile of twine, you know, to be on twine. That's a big energy cataclysm, but it seems to be drawing energy directly from me, you know, and I'm just literally unable to move. So I got to figure out a way to try to alleviate some of the pressure from me so I can get up and fix some of the problems. But so I'm going to, you know, I guess one of the things I did was editing all of the interpretation motive of a lot of I had done a lot of really dark work, as far as, you know, the typical, and so I've been trying to edit that to where, because of the literal illiterate interpretation, in order to best benefit the whatever the motive might be. So we've got the motive of chicanery as far as, and then the use of voodoo against me based upon my possessions that are out there, and then I'm not even able to reload with possessions. You know, I could go get another set of golf clubs. I could go get another gold watch, you know, could go get, you know, more things that but I'm not able to. That's another reason. They want to keep those possessions as powerful as possible. You know, they want the voodoo curse, you know. They want the strong voodoo there. And so what has been happening is, I honestly think there's a concise or a concerted effort to create. They put me in situations. That's why I'm force dependent, is to put in these situations to power schemes at jobs. But I have no choice. I mean, I am literally verge of death. You know, I've been hanging by almost dead. It ain't almost famous. It's been almost dead for so long. And I think, well, eventually these people, I think, are going to really get screwed in the long run because I think the curse is going to come back around and bite them in the ass. And I warned some people about that. I said, beware of the cost of using magic and this dark arts because especially if it's derived from a source that's being like a kidnapped victim is deriving the source of the power to the witches. You know, that sort of. The frog is actually the power plant, the Riverbend nuclear power plant, or the Indian Point plant there in Manhattan. So you're deriving. So I was turned into a frog, let's say, and I'm being held that way, and I can't escape because I can either buy my way out or I can't unravel it all. So I got to try to. I don't know. Maybe I can try some. Who knows? We'll have to see. But then again, you've got this whole reflective, deflective. You know, it really is, and this is all interpretation of what I see based upon action and actions that are done. You know, people. There is a lot of vanity involved, um, and using the source as a way to polish up the others that are using it, then it gets all sorts of strange and all that. I mean, it's a weird science sort of mentality. But then again, you look at there's my little space shuttle there floating across the screen. But I mean, what does that really mean? A Hot Wheels, you know, sort of thing. What's the symbological meaning of that, or the lithium battery, or the you know, any number of drugs that you use, any number of potions or the fat, you know, anything. Where's the power derived? And that's what's happening with me. Is I think people are deriving power, and I'm getting, and it's solar because they're just they got, you know. It really is just because they're not having to pay anything for it. They're trying to claim photosynthesis, huh? No, I don't think so. It just doesn't seem that right. So we're going to have to come up with some sort of voodoo curse to reverse the curse. Oh, and then there is something else. It's strange because, like, what should have been big magic for me, when I was living in Baton Rouge, my friend from Rhode Island who had studied at Tufts in Boston, and she was definitely a Boston side of the New England. The Red Sox, good friends, and the Red Sox ended up winning the World Series and breaking the curse. And so I was like, ooh, that should have been big magic there. But instead, it's kind of like I actually saw animosity. It's just the mentality of we don't want to owe, or, you know, we're not going to pay for it. The mob ain't going to pay nothing, that kind of thing, for luck or whatever. So instead, I'm just they chopped off my foot as the lucky rabbit's foot that they hung around, or the leprechaun. Actually, what they've been doing, and it's more indicative of, is they've got a whole gaggle of golden geese laying golden eggs, and from the magic golden eggs, and so that's the family that's dispersed laying golden eggs, and they're there collecting and doing all sorts of cottage industries, but they're addicted to the geese laying the golden eggs. That's kind of but we're kind of free range in our little bitty stunted pygmy elevated bubble in comparative to the $1 billion worth theoretically. So, and there's all sorts of ulterior motives and side cottage businesses and things like that. The potency of possessions by poverty, definitely. It was like the Risky Business. Remember Risky Business where the pimp stole everything from his house and they were going to make him pay to get it back? Well, it really is like that because basically they picked me, and I can't even. They don't even. The money's not worth it. The magic of the possessions that's one of the reasons the long run around. That's why they went cheap. That's why I got never got another good job in Baton. Not that I ever had one in the first place. They wanted the possessions worth a lot more than they wanted um, the money value of it. So they wanted that's sort of the loan shark and motive of what's been going on here as far as trying to maintain control of possessions. That's kind of, I mean, I don't know. It's a very strange scenario, but it really is. It's like the Caddyshack line. You'll get nothing and like it, you know. And I'm literally on the verge of death, barely alive, while you know the town is flooded with probably fish that I'm luring in, metaphorically speaking. And I'll, you know, sit here and be happy to be alive, barely alive. That's the bare necessities, the bare minimum. You know, that's the bastard interpretation of uh, what's going on. Though it really is. It's the it's the Jew down plantation. They want to, you know, but the problem is they really needed to build a bank. But they didn't want to. They were, revenge was the key. They wanted the revenge. They wanted the vanity. They wanted to whitewash. They needed to build a bank. Now they're going to try to transfer the bank into my sister's hand. And now it's going to end up, that's what's going on now. They're trying to build a bank through my sister using the cheerleaders and the cats and the, you know, and that all coalition. But it's not going to fly because of, I just don't think it will, because it's gonna backlash globally. They're gonna try to play the pink revolution card, you know. That's gonna be, or that's kind of wild. They're doing the reverent hair pulling, you know. Everything's reverent to anything. They would screw me over for anything, you know. That's it's literally the Midnight Cowboy, best picture of 1969. My mother happened to be born on the same day, 111, that Louis Mayer founded the Oscar Academy Awards. So 1969 Best Picture, Midnight Cowboy. So John Boyd, JV, you know, there he is again, who is the father of Angelina Jolie, and probably why they're marrying in New Orleans. But it's a loophole. They're always trying to loophole the JV. They want to keep me in it because I supply energy, but they're building loopholes for other factions to utilize beyond. But me, I can't build a loophole. I got to supply the energy. So yeah, Midnight Cowboy, Best Picture 1969, or there was the Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. You got Sundance, but now they're gonna play you. They want the passion fruit. Reverend, you know, that's what, go getting screwed by anything for pennies and nickels. So they'd sell me out to anything. They would and it's bribery mercenaries by screwing me. It's like whitewash vanity, screwing me to prop up somebody else. That's, you know, that's the kind of magic it is. But it's just been long term, pass it around, and you know, assembly line screwing as Midnight Cowboy for nickels. I mean, I'm going in and humiliating myself, literally. I mean, if you look in the grand scheme, if I'm worth $1 billion and I'm working for less than crumbs, you know, that's I mean, I'm getting screwed, royally screwed, you know, like a passion fruit. Not even, you know, just, it's been one. There was a homecoming float in the front yard of the fraternity I was in, when it was something with LSU and Ole Miss, and they built a pont, Mike the Tiger, and they had somebody, I can't remember if it was the Ole Miss Rebel, shoving a big old golden spike up Mike the Tiger's ass, and that's, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's strange to see how it worked out. They went overboard with the handicapping. They really did. They were much more concerned with me not escaping. They were going to hammer me as low as possible rather than take any chance. You know, it was like the minimal. They wanted to go with limbo. You know, limbo, Lambo, purgatory. Yeah, it really is. It was as low, Jew down, cheap, skateboard, wakeboard, in a coma as they could go, rather than, you know, they didn't want to take any chances because they were really screwing us and that we could escape. So that's when it got into they had to use everything and anything. So they hacked the genes to be useless. Our bodies are basically vacant shells, but it's controlled by factions. You know, you got a bunch of basic plugs into me, and I'm spitting fire like a dragon because you overload. I'm dying of starvation in a coma. And then all the possessions are pillaged and used in other aspects for other controls. Then you got things like marathon music is like validating music. It's like that's another transference of family into the music business. So I mean, there's all sorts of plugs into it, and it's basically we're free, getting nothing out of it theoretically. Faction or fixed, or fact or fiction, who rightly knows, not rightly sure. I'm sure it makes some good investigation, but I ain't allowed to dig. Might get dirty. And who, you gotta protect the vein that they done, you gotta protect the Johns. They done screwed me. Paid their money to screw me, their pennies to screw me. They bribed some mercenaries screwing the Midnight Cowboy here, so yeah. And it's one of the worst. This will be remembered, and that's one of the things it got so ugly. They wanted to make it so ugly that they were going to have to erase it from him. That's why it went so far overboard. The motive for the super overboard is they wanted to try to make it so ugly to hide it from history. That's why they're desperate to erase, because they screwed up so bad. There's so much guilt involved that it's the uglier, we're going to erase it from history mentality in order to keep screwing. They're addicted to screwing. They love that magic power like Ricky Bobby.